Welcome in then, everybody. It's Jake joining you from Everbank Stadium in the Sunshine State of Florida. I hear it's pretty chilly back home, but it's early 20s here, so yeah, pretty nice. We've got the Miller Electric Centre just over to my right hand side. It's where the Jags are practicing right now, and they're hard at work preparing for that playoff game against the Bills. We are the AFC South champions, and we're going to be hosting a game at this very stadium behind me on Sunday, 6 p.m. UK time, and wow, I can't wait. Crushed our division rivals on Sunday, the Tennessee Titans. Let's get into it. So the game against the Titans, it was a must-win. All week we've been saying the same. It'll be a close affair for the first 2 to 3 quarters. Wow, those predictions were wrong, weren't they? We dominated from the off. Much like the first game, that first drive, we were a quick 3 and out on offence, and the Titans came out, and wow, they looked dangerous. Cam Ward, all credit to him, he was dangerous on scrambling. I think we've had that issue all season. Coming up, we'll look ahead to the game against Buffalo, but Josh Allen, he's a really similar sort of player. Cam, he scrambled in for a touchdown on that very first Titans drive. He actually got injured though. Foye Luakin sort of a tackle to his midsection, and yeah, ouch, he was out for the rest of the game. You hate to see injuries, especially to a rookie quarterback. You know, it can really set them back in their development. The Titans organisation seems to be setting Cam back a bit as well, but hope he gets well soon and he's out there next season ready to lose twice to the Jags again. Jags came back out on offence and instantly made their will known. I think we just had an unrelenting mix of air and ground attack in this game, and it is one of the most dominant division wins I think we've had in Jaguars history. It was pretty much all she wrote from there. The Titans, they struggled to gain any consistency. They didn't have a reliable run game to lean on, which they have had at points this season. They had it in that first game against us in the early sort of portions of the game. Back at quarterback, Brandon Allen, I mean, feel sorry for him to some extent, but he just couldn't get any foothold, couldn't get any drive started. So, yeah, a tough out for him, no doubt. As we do every week, to talk about the coaching. What can you critique in a 41-7 division win in Week 18 that gets you the third seed of the playoffs? I mean, it's clear the team, they weren't leaving anything to chance. It was one game at a time mentality. We played the team in front of us, and we didn't get ahead of ourselves. We weren't scoreboard watching. I think it was handy that this game was a 1 o'clock Sunday game, 6 o'clock Sunday game. It just meant we had that usual routine. Nothing was bigger than it could have got. Coach Cohen, 13 wins as a rookie head coach, and let's not underestimate that the team he took over, you know, this wasn't a 9-7 team that's sort of taken a leap. This was a basement dwelling team that ultimately we had a top 5 pick. The work that he's done, this was supposed to be a rebuilding year. If this is what rebuilding looks like, then wow, we're a different organisation from the off. His offensive scheme in the game worked to perfection for me. Outside of that first drive, we had the inside running game going okay, and then that precise, it's the timing based passing game that we've got. We always like to see that first or second read be open. I think that's really helped Trevor as well. Steal a phrase from Coach Cohen, all 3 phases dominated on Sunday. Quarterback, I've sat on the bench with this man, Trevor Lawrence, right behind me. He's man of the hour, isn't he? I've got to admit, I got a little bit emotional on Sunday, sat in section 123 when I heard the MVP chants going around that stadium, and yeah, I mean, I've always felt he's the dude. He came out as a really highly touted prospect and didn't want to go all in. You know, we've seen rookie quarterbacks come in, even high drafted ones, and not be the man and fail. But Trevor's just got something about him. I mean, he fits this team so well. He's so bought in, and he got 4,000 yards on Sunday. And you know, we willed him towards that 4,000 yards. No two ways about it. But he fully deserved it. And I mean, you could just feel the love that this crowd, this city has got for the dude, and he's just embraced it, and all credit to him for it. I've been a Trevor believer for a long time, and my favourite question to everyone I know when we've had some meetups, and how do you feel about Trevor, and how do you feel about Trevor? Let me know. I want to see has your opinion changed? Do you think he's taken the leap? Is he just going through a bit of a purple patch? What do we think? I think he's proven so many doubters wrong in the back half of this season. from where he was earlier in the season, his game has developed. The offensive scheme has changed. Jacoby Myers has come in and he's really, become a security blanket for him. Throw of the day, it was that touchdown pass to Parker Washington for me. It was on time, on the money, a ridiculously tight window, and Parker was just floating in the air, and this missile comes in from Trevor, and wow. I mean, when this guy makes throws, they are top 3 quarterback throws, no two ways about it. Onto the O-line. Biggest news coming into the week, Cole Van Lanen signed a 3-year, $51 million extension. Essentially, that's confirmed him as our new starting left tackle. He's taken that spot from Walker Little. Credit to CVL. He's taken that opportunity. The next man up NFL mentality is proven here more than anything. Tackle's his natural position. I think the NFL tried to force him to play guard. Obviously, he's taken this opportunity at left tackle and excelled in it. A brief scare when he went down for injury in this game, but early reports, he was up and walking around the locker room, and he's already saying he's good to go for next week. Hopefully he's over there on the training field now, getting some reps in. Anton Harrison, our other tackle spot, again, it wasn't a great day for him. Struggled at times, and I think he allowed some immediate pressure. He wasn't even getting hands on his rushers. The Titans pass rush, it's underrated. You got big Jeffrey Simmons in the middle, and I think some of their outside guys, they're serviceable NFL players. Anton could be a bit of a weak link for this O-line. I want to believe in the dude. He was a first-round pick. He's been with the team a long time, but he just doesn't seem to have taken that step. Starting unit for the O-line, it was Cole Van Lanen at left tackle, Ezra Cleveland left guard, Robert Hainsey in centre, who's returned from injury. It was great to see him back out there. Walker Little at right guard and Anton Harrison at right tackle. Great to see Hainsey back out there. I think he's really heavily involved, I don't know this for a fact, but in setting protections for this O-line. And he takes a little bit off of Trevor's plate pre-snap. So getting him out there, he understands Cohen's offense, obviously coming with him from Tampa. So it's really important to see. Walker Little, just want to mention him. Like, what dude? Like, he's taken this demotion in effect, and an opportunity's come up straight away. He's kept himself fit, he's kept himself ready, and he's gone out there and he's looked good. He's plugged the gap, and he hasn't been a weak link, which oftentimes going from left tackle to right guard, it's not an easy position swap that. The skill positions, so one stat to rule them all is what I've written here in my notes. 9 skill position players caught a pass on Sunday. That's just crazy, isn't it? I know we were dishing the ball out, we had a couple of people sat and our starters went out, but 9 people catching passes. Trevor, who's just dishing it all over the house, and it felt like every player on Sunday could go out there and beat their man. Brenton Strange at tight end, the prophecy came true. I have bought myself a Brenton Strange jersey while we've been out here. I just love the dude. I think the physicality he brings in the blocking game and the running game, and he just sits at the sticks, doesn't he? Every pass seems to go for a first down. Yeah, he's going to be a massive part of this offense moving forwards, and again, he really is convincing me that he was the biggest loss when we went through that sort of rough spell, especially the London game. He's a huge part of this offense. Travis Etienne on the ground, 14 carries for 32 yards. That's 2.3 yards per carry on average. That's his lowest total of the year, I believe. The Titans, they seem to double down on stopping the run game, stopping the Jags run game, and they failed to account for anything else. The receiver group, it was a good showing. I think when the ball spread around to as many people as it was, you're going to struggle to see any huge numbers, but it was Parker Washington who led the unit, 5 catches for 87 yards and that big touchdown. Good overall performance, tougher challenges are to come for the skill position group. Defence, you give up 7 points, it's a dominant defensive performance. It was all day Sunday. I think barring that first Titans drive, it would have been interesting to see what happened. Had Cam Ward been in that entire game? Would we have put a spy on him, Devin or Foyer? What would they have looked like? We struggled with those quarterbacks that extend plays. We've got our division's quite static from the quarterback pocket. Stroud's not a huge scrambler. And we've come up against those sort of plays that move around, and it has given us some difficulty. So with Josh Allen coming into town on Sunday, let's see what that looks like. Play of the day from the defence, Antonio Johnson pick 6. The crowd was electric, and pick 6, big defensive plays, special teams plays, they get the crowd going, and it seemed to go forever, really similar to that Devin Lloyd Monday night interception, but he just kept going, beating a man, and when he hit that end zone, he went crazy in there. So it's great to see, and Coach Campanili's unit, it keeps forcing turnovers, keeps putting the ball, if not in the end zone, back in the hands of the offense, and that's a recipe for success, especially when it comes to playoff football. Special teams, there's only one place to start for me, Cam Little. I mean, he showed that record-breaking kick was no fluke. A 6'7" yarder at the end of the first half. I think the combination of not just his power but also his accuracy, it just makes him such a difficult player to go up against, and he's going to be a real weapon come this postseason and hopefully for many years to come in the stadium right behind me. Logan Cook, a bit of a dream day as a punter, wasn't it? He barely got called upon, and when he did, he was nailing points inside the 20. I think this unit, special teams unit, is kept rounding back into form. It had been the shining light in what was a pretty difficult few seasons for the Jags, and we're coming back into that, top 3, top 5 unit league-wide, which is great to see. MVP, player of the game. A really difficult one to award this week. So many people deserving of it. Going to do something I've not done all season and sort of debated with myself, should I give it? But this is more in recognition of a whole season rather than the whole Week 18 game. But MVP for Week 18 is Coach Liam Cohen. He's just a leader that's come in, taken a basement-dwelling team that didn't have much hope. We had the same old sorry-ass Jags approach, and it's just turned us around. We're the 3rd seed in the AFC, and this team is so behind him. Congrats, Coach. Playoff picture. So the playoff field's set now. The 1st seed, we've got the Denver Broncos, who are 14-3. In 2nd, the New England Patriots are 14-3. In 3rd place is our Jacksonville Jaguars at 13-4 on the season. Winners of the AFC North, and it felt like neither the Ravens or the Steelers wanted to win this, but it's the Pittsburgh Steelers at 10-7. And then we have the 3 wildcard teams. So in 5th place, the Houston Texans, who, outside of the Jags, I think are on the hottest streak going into these playoffs. They're 12-5. 6th, the Buffalo Bills at 12-5. And then finally, the LA Chargers at 11-6. So the perfect picture is as follows. Denver, they're going to have a week off and they'll be hosting someone in the division round. The LA Chargers heading to Foxborough to take on the Patriots. We've got the Jags hosting the Buffalo Bills at Everbank Stadium. That's Sunday, 6 p.m. GMT. And the Texans heading to Pittsburgh to face Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. And that could be a difficult matchup for the Texans, especially if they utilise some of the screen game that we saw. The Texans defence, I don't know what the answer is against it, but outside of the Jags, they seem to shut people down. Be interesting to see what happens in that game, and that game could really decide where we end up going or what happens with other teams in the playoffs. Division watch, I think halfway through the season, no one would have given you that final AFC South standings as they actually finished. Jags 1st, Texans 2nd, Colts 3rd, and then down at the bottom, the Tennessee Titans is probably the only one you could have locked in. Texans, they squeaked out a close one over the Colts. Riley Leonard's performance, quarterback, I think it's going to raise some serious questions in Indianapolis. What was the decision making around not playing him over Phillip Rivers? Had they played Riley Leonard? Could they have been more competitive in the games that they needed to win? It's an organisation in a bit of dismay, and I recommend going and watching Carly Ursay Gordon's press conference. Really strange one. I don't know why they did it and what answers they were trying to answer, but a bad vibe around Indy at the moment. The Titans, just want to touch on them. Enjoy the draft, guys. You're in that zone. They've got the 4th overall pick, so they need to get some talent around Cam so they can make an assessment. You're having a whole new coaching squad come in. Be interesting to see what they do. Here we go then. So let's go on to next week, and it's been the same since week 1. Nothing's changed here, but this is the biggest game in franchise history. The Jacksonville Jaguars take on the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills led by reigning MVP Josh Allen. The Bills Mafia, they travel well, we know that. For those of you guys that were at the Tottenham game a few seasons back, it felt like a Bills home game. It was me and Captain Duval in our section. We were the only Jags fans there. Predictions for Sunday, sort of a 60-40 crowd split, they're saying already. Ticket prices have gone insane. In terms of the actual game, Josh Allen, he is a difference-making quarterback. We've got to be careful around him. We've just got to shut down James Cook. The Bills come in with the number 1 rushing offense. problem for them. They're going up against the number 1 rush defence, so I think that's where, immovable force versus the unstoppable object. Path to victory for me, force Josh Allen to rely on his wideouts. It's a matchup I think favours the Jags and our secondary. Keon Coleman, he hasn't been what they thought they should be. We see a return of Gabe Davis, who's coming back to Duval. Interesting to see what he can do. And the fact that he's in the starting lineup just shows you how low down the actual Bills receiving core is at the moment. Offensively, in terms of the Jags, I think Trevor can move the ball against this Bills defence. Look for Brenton Strange to have a big day again. We'll see him move the chains. Probably be able to find some space in the red zone, especially if the Bills play some zone. I think he's great at finding those soft spots in between. Special teams, manage our aggression. Be sensible. We don't want to change the recipe that we've had coming into this season. Cam Littley's out there, but there's a time and a place for those big kicks, and let's just... Field position is so important, come play off football. Let's be sensible with it and manage our aggression. It's going to be a tight one. I think we go in as home underdogs, and with a 3rd seed in the AFC, if you needed fuel for the fire, there it is, guys. Prediction, Jaguars 27, Jaguars 28, Bills 27. I think the game might look out of reach at some points during this for the Jags, but Trevor's going to dig deep, he's going to get into his bag, and we'll pull out a victory in the end. And that's it for this week. Bit of a shorter episode, obviously, because we're not in the home studio, but we're into the playoffs. It's playoff football, and how nice is it to be talking about the playoffs instead of the draft. Let's carry it on to next week, though. We don't want to be one and done. We don't want to be going home, so all we got is all we need. Stay warm back home. I'm off to the beach because it's sort of 20 degrees, so thank you all for tuning in, and it's amazing out here, guys, for one last time this regular season and to send us into the postseason. Duval, let's go.